Yo, it's your boy T. Obviously, I'm just giving you a video. I'm new to YouTube, so yeah, welcome to my channel. I'm going to speak about obviously just yesterday's game and maybe touch on a few, just touch on the Premier League and stuff in general in the future to come. Um, yeah, obviously Spurs smoked City yesterday, innit? Like it is what it is. Um, but I want to speak about the game and just to let you lot understand that Pep lost the game more, well, not more, but Pep lost the game just as much as Spurs won it. His tactics was just, it was just bad. And the thing is, I'm not going to be over analytical and make everything boring and overthink because do you know what I mean? That's how you go wrong. And I'm not going to just be reactionary because that's how you just don't have context. But just to keep it simple, Pep, and he always does this, Pep went for flash over substance. Now, he's bought Starboy. I call Grealish Starboy because, in my opinion, he's the best player in the league. People's going to disagree, which is cool, but in my opinion, he's the best player in the league. But when you buy him, you need to understand that he's a winger. All of you lot that's trying to push this narrative that he's an 8, he's a 10, he's a winger. His gameplay, his style of play makes him a winger. Do you know what I mean? He likes to carry the ball. He likes to drive into space. That's what wingers do. Yeah. If you're gonna play him 10, then you need two guys that is technically very, very good and has got good defensive instincts. Yesterday, Man City didn't have that. Gundogan is a very good player. He's a very intelligent player, but he's an 8 at the end of the day, and he's one that likes to get forward. Jack Grealish is an 8, so you saw many times he was on the wing and he was just trying to beat Tanganga. Obviously, Tanganga was moving like a screw. He just had that whole wing patterned, but that was it. And what you actually saw was Nuno Santo. He played very, very, very tight. He stopped all the little half spaces that Gundogan and Grealish could really attack. So as a result, Grealish went wide. With Grealish going wide, Sterling didn't really know what to do. Sterling had a poor game because Sterling was holding on to the ball for too long, and it's one of his bad traits. But he was holding onto the ball for too long. He didn't know when to release it. He didn't know when to drive, and that just caused a lot of trouble. And then what you just saw was just a clog. It was just a clog of Sterling and Grealish being down the same side. Mendy was being down the same side, but there was no real balance. It's just players that just want to carry the ball. Also, touching on that carrying the ball thing, City have way too many ball carriers. Like they've got way too many ball carriers. You need a direct outlet. Yes, they need a striker. Everyone knows they need a striker. But they've got too many ball carriers. You cannot win when you've got all those midfielders that want to be on the ball. It don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So when that happens, so did I say ball carriers? I meant ball centric players. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense at all. You're just gonna have a bunch of players that's waiting to receive it. That's just gonna be in the ball for so long, and they're just gonna slow everything down. You need runners. You need players that's going to be direct, so you can change gears and you can just control the tempo, which they couldn't do. They could play at one tempo. They had a good first 10, 15 minutes. As soon as Spurs settled and assimilated into Nuno's shape and into Nuno's tactics, they was all right. Second half, they kind of knew, okay, right, City weren't on anything. City didn't really have a lot to offer. City couldn't up the tempo, so Spurs got more belief. He made a very good tactical change by putting Son right and by having Bergwijn kind of running through the middle. And what that done was Bergwijn's a good ball carrier. He's got good IQ. So they was just catching City in transition because City played with two eights. Pep went for flash over substance. What he should have done is he should have put somebody else to help Fernandinho. Instead, he was very isolated, and as a result. As a result of that, it killed their attacking play as well because what you saw was they was just getting the ball wide and they was just relying on Sterling being able to beat Tanganga. That didn't happen. So Grealish went down that side, tried to beat Tanganga. That didn't happen. Then what you saw was Mendy was getting the ball a lot, but Mendy doesn't have the technical ability to be able to to be able to actually get the ball to Sterling and Grealish and Gunda in those areas that they would have wanted. So they kind of suffered every time Jack Grealish was getting the ball and moving into good spaces. Mendy or whoever it was, Mendy or Fernandinho would lose the ball. And let me get into this. Jack Grealish didn't play bad. Like, I know you lot just want to chat shit. You lot want to get on him because he cost £100 million. I get it, yeah. £100 million, 0 goals, they lost. Cool. It's always gonna look like he had a bad game. He didn't play bad. Yeah, he was moving into the right spaces. He was holding his position well. Yes, Tanganga, you could say pocketed him and had a very good game against him. That's true. But you'll see lots of times he was clearly, you'll see lots of times he was picking up nice spaces behind Skip. They couldn't get the ball to him. Once KDB came on the pitch, you saw more of Grealish. He started to come into his own. Second half, he was a lot better because they was moving it quicker. They was able to give him the ball in areas of the pitch which he actually liked and he felt comfortable attacking. But he wasn't poor. He really wasn't. They couldn't feed him in the way they needed to feed him. They clearly need a striker. Clearly, Ferran Torres I thought was gonna have a good game. I was wrong. He didn't do anything nice. You know, he had some cute touches and things like that. But for the most part, he just lost the ball. That's all he really done. He didn't offer any good hold up play. He didn't win any duels. His spatial awareness wasn't necessarily great. He was just on the edge of the box more time. He needed to kind of get in between the two centre backs who had very good games as well. Gunda needed to do that. But yeah, like ultimately that just didn't happen, and it just made everything easy for Spurs. And getting on to that, well done to Nuno because he got his tactics right. He played a very narrow system. It worked. City couldn't break Spurs down. They cut off all the spaces that City wanted. They forced City to have to play for their fullbacks, particularly Mendy. Mendy didn't do well. You saw Lucas Moura consistently breaking on Ake. You saw him consistently breaking on Mendy. He was giving them a lot of trouble. At times, you saw Son peeling off to that side, picking up the ball. That's how we got his goal. He was on the right hand side. He cut in, wonderful finish. Son always does that. Son's an inevitable player, high instinct, high tempo player. And in fact, what I like with Son is he's getting better. You know, his game is actually getting better. He's not that instinctive player that he once was. Son used to be a player that used to just play off of instinct. Now he's actually slow. Now he's actually slowing his brain down. He's processing better. He's still very instinctive. Don't get it twisted, but his game now is getting a lot better. His movement's better. His decision making is better. He knows now when to get the ball and when to run with it, when not to shoot, when to lay it off, um, holding up to force a defender into committing early, and just little things like that. He's getting better. So I expect I expect him to have a very good season. Skip played very well for somebody that's almost like a rookie. He played very, very, very well. He was a little bit shaky early when he gave away that free kick with Grealish, but other than that, he grew into it. He was very, very, very physical. He won a lot of his duels. His positional sense was very good. So yeah, there's probably something there. Tanganga, don't even need to get into it. Man of the match. Like I said, he's just a screw. Donny's just a screw. He just had that wing pattern. Grealish couldn't get past him. Sterling couldn't get past him. They was doubling up on him at the same time. Neither of them could get past him. He's just immense in duels. He's gonna be like a Wan-Bissaka, hopefully, man. Keep him at right back. He's not, for me. Don't play him centre back. Don't force it. Just keep him in that position. Um, yeah, and that's it, man. Um, like, subscribe. I hope to give you more content. This is just a quick breakdown of what I thought and how I thought the game went.